Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us have editorial analysis for today, that is October 21st, 2022. The first article, this Hindi and Hindi alone, counsel is flawed. So, to understand this article, you need to understand Article 344 and Official Language Commission, Parliamentary Committee on Official Language. So, Official Language Commission, Parliamentary Committee on Official Language, these are two different entities. Official Language Commission, what the Constitution in Article 344 states is this. After the commencement of this Constitution, within 5 years, Official Language Commission has to be created to recommend on the progress of Hindi and also necessary restrictions to be imposed on English, and where all Hindi can be made or Hindi can be used, what numericals can be used, for that this Official Language Commission has to be constituted. After 5 years, for every 10 years, it is expected to be constituted. But in India, it was constituted only for once. It was headed by Bala Gangadhar Kher, B.G. Kher. This Article 344 subclause 4, it also has a specific condition. When we are talking about Hindi, the Commission need to take into consideration the needs, the just interests of the non-Hindi speaking population. Let us take, if public services are recruited in Hindi, based on Hindi, obviously the non-Hindi speaking regions, especially South and East India, will get affected. So the Constitution was very clear that the interests and just demands of the people who are not speaking Hindi has to be taken into consideration. The second clause it also kept is the industrial, cultural, scientific advancement of India shall also be taken into consideration. So, Official Language Commission, while promoting Hindi, in the case of recruitment to public services, the just demands and interests of non-speaking Hindi population has to be taken into consideration, and also industrial, cultural and scientific advancement of India also need to be taken into consideration. The same article also recommended for creation of a parliamentary committee consisting of 20 members from Lok Sabha and 10 members from Rajya Sabha. So, Official Language Act 1963, it has led to creation of this committee by the Parliament. So, that is what is called as Official Language Committee or Parliamentary Committee on Official Language. It is normally headed by the Home Minister of India. The committee recommendations will be looked into by the President of India, and on few recommendations, President of India may take necessary action. Are we clear on to this? So, this is the difference between Official Language Commission and Official Language Committee. In this case, Article 343 of the Constitution clearly stated, Hindi in Devanagari script will be the official language of the Union and English will continue for 15 years. But later, Nehru has issued in Parliament that, and also it was incorporated in law, English will continue as long as the people, non-Hindi speaking population desires for it. In that way, the English has become a language along with Hindi for the communications with the Union and also for the work of Union. Are we clear till now? In this case, the Parliamentary Committee on Official Language recently made certain recommendations to the President of India which have become controversial. They are: 1. Hindi should replace English as the official language of examination for recruitment to government. It means SSC CGL, UPSC Civil Services Examination, all these need to be conducted in Hindi. Second, medium of instruction in IITs, IIMs and Kendriya Vidyalayas shall be only in Hindi. Now, if you take Kendriya Vidyalayas, many of the people who are recruited to central government from South India, they might be posted in Delhi. The opportunities for them or else in their mother tongue are limited. So making the children to read beyond mother tongue is not warranted. And then the state government shall have a constitutional binding to promote Hindi as a language. So these are the recommendations which are being made. So these are being criticized by Tamilnadu Chief Minister Mr. Stalin and Mr. Vijayan of Kerala. What is the major criticism? Let us examine. So it's a forcible imposition of Hindi. And second, committee which has recommended for this, the Parliamentary Committee on Official Language, it has to make recommendations for the promotion of Hindi, not for replacement of the medium of education. It do not have a legal mandate to recommend for it. Second is, Official Language Act, it clearly states English can continue along with Hindi. But this is recommending beyond the law which has given life to it. You know that the statutory status to this committee has come from 1963 Act. It is going overboard the 1963 Act which gave life to it. And then non-Hindi speaking populations' just claims and interests are not taken into consideration. And English is necessary for global integration of India today. And Article 344 subclause 4 itself, it says that industrial, cultural and scientific advancement of India shall be taken into consideration. While these recommendations are made, that is not taken into consideration. Now, can two languages coexist as official language of union? Yes. In the case of Canada, English and French coexist as the official language of union. So for the federation to work, there has to be a link language. In India, two streams of language, main language exists. One is Indo-European and Dravidian. Obviously, one language stream cannot subsume the other language stream. Both of them have to be given their due space and respect. So that is what is the essence of unity in diversity. Let's go to the next article. Addressing North India's burning issue sustainably. What is this stubble burning? What are the origins of the stubble burning? So if you carefully observe, after the Green Revolution, this has become a major problem because the number of crops grown increased. After the Kharif, immediately they have to sow the seed. That's where this has to be quickly dispensed. Because of this, they burn the crop on the land itself where it was grown, on the field itself. That leads to air pollution till to the extent of West Bengal. So that's why the smog in winter in capital city Delhi is attributed to this stubble burning in North India. How to address this? So various technical solutions and economic incentives are being proposed. One is happy seeders. These are developed by Punjab Agricultural University. What they do is, so they try to sow in a particular line and they separate the stubble from there and clear that, and then they allow that particular thing to degenerate on the soil, which can add rich carbon and nitrogen to the soil. These are called happy seeders. And then biodecomposers. So we use these bacteria and fungus to decompose this. And burning the stubble as part of energy to the boilers. In the place of coal, you can use this stubble. And what are the economic incentives? Punjab government started offering 2,500 rupees per acre for the farmer. Now, if you clearly see that the Green Revolution, which has given impetus to rice cultivation, which is very water intensive, has led to this problem. And today, the entire agro system has to be changed to solve the problem. Superficial techno-economic solutions may not be the answer. How the agro-economic system has to be changed completely? Shift away from rice. Rice to the crops like cotton, maize, pulses, oil, etc. shall be encouraged. So it tries to see the problem from its origins. The Green Revolution is the source of the problem. The change in the crop pattern is the source of the problem. So we need to shift to alternate crops to make the sustainable agricultural practice and also to stop this problem of stubble burning in Punjab. The next article, checks no balance. China He is putting a halt on our terror recommendation to 1267 Committee of UN Security Council. Under this 1267 committee, any country can nominate a terrorist and then certain sanctions will be imposed on him. USA and India together have made 5 recommendations which are put to halt by China. In this case, what are the China's interests? Obviously, it is showing the political bias towards the Pakistan. The second thing is, what India shall do in these circumstances? A global consensus against terrorism and making a diplomatic effort to make or to bring everyone to be a participant or cooperation from everyone on terrorism will be critical. So once you build that consensus, obviously China is expected to fall in line. So India has to work towards global cooperation and consensus on terrorism. Next is, should Dalit Muslims and Dalit Christians be given SC status? Already we have discussed enough of this topic. Let us try to understand this way. Previously, what are the positives and negatives? Positives wise, discrimination exists. Even they convert into other religion. Now we got another point to add over here, which is called double discrimination. These people are also not just being discriminated by the caste Hindus, they are also discriminated by their own religion into which they were converted into. Let's take a converted Muslim is discriminated by the elitist Muslims. Obviously, that is leading to double discrimination. So discrimination exists even today and it is worse, that is what is described as double discrimination. Second point is, it is not particular to a religion, it is a civilizational practice across the subcontinent. So either you change the religion or not, the civilizational practice from Hinduism will still continue to discriminate these people. And third important point is, the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act is there. Now in this case, when you give Prevention of Atrocities Act, this give SC status, they also get the Protection of Prevention of Atrocities Act. In this case, in a Christian, if he is keeping a case on a Hindu, can't it lead to religious conflict, religious fight? So that's why this has to be taken onto the negative side, why it has not to be given. Even if it is given, shall we give reservations alone or shall we also give other legal protections like SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act? That is the question which is raised in this. And on to the negative side, what it has been said, if you give reservations to these people, the existing chunk of cake is fixed. Bringing more people into that, it will dilute the benefits which are already available to the SCs. So it may have a negative impact on the benefits to the SCs. So that is what which has been stated. So one of the way forward recommended is separate religious minority reservations and rather than including them in the SC category. This is one recommendation that can be considered. Separate reservations from other laws which are protecting the SCs. These need to be considered. Right, I am not discussing all the points because in the last week only 2 articles I have discussed these positive pros and cons in detail. Here I am adding what are the extra points. One is double discrimination and then this caste factor is more civilizational challenge rather than challenge of a religion. Can this lead to religious conflict? These are the 3 new points which I got, so I have added them over here. And the next is saving the vultures of Tamilnadu. So we discussed enough on vultures. So these vultures are natural scavengers and they are critically endangered species. Now we are trying to find why the vultures have become critically endangered. The first, loss of habitat. The nesting sites means where they breed, and human interference. Simple example is, there is temple tourism in Sigur Plateau in Tamil Nadu. Those are the places where these vultures nest. So their habitat is lost and nesting sites are being lost due to human activity. And then certain invasive weeds are being grown in these regions. So when this vulture has to land, it needs a wider space. So when you have such a big plants, as weeds, it will not use that particular place as its habitat. So loss of biodiversity is an point over here. So loss of biodiversity, climate change and forest fires. And finally, NSAIDs use. You know what do we call it as? Diclofenac. What is diclofenac? It is an anti-inflammatory drug used in animals, even for us too, for pains. So for foot and mouth disease, they use this. When these animals die, it is going into vultures as part of the food chain, and vultures cannot metabolize this drug, and it is leading to their death. So these are the points which you can use. The next article, certain current affairs I took. One is a new initiative in Chhattisgarh for helping prisoners to get out of legal maze swiftly. One of the major problems, this is a case study of Lok Adalats in Chhattisgarh. Major problem in justice delivery is lack of access to justice. So, a well-organized Lok Adalat structure is able to decrease the pending case load on the judiciary in the case of Chhattisgarh. We can use this as an example with regard to our answer as +1 advantage. With regard to adoption of technology, so Interpol can be quoted as an example. So to train the law enforcement officials across the world, they are using the virtual avatars in metaverse. So they create officers like metaverse virtual people, and through them they can conduct the training to increase the experience of the trainees. So that is what is adoption of technology. And next is National Commission of STs, which is a constitutional body. What it has said is, it has a duty to caution the government when their policies goes against the interests of the tribals. So recently, Forest Conservation Rules 2022 are being announced, and the National Commission for STs clearly stated that they come in conflict with the Forest Rights Act of the tribals. So here, the constitutional body name is there. It has a duty to recommend to the government that when its policies come in conflict with the interests of the tribals, it can make suggestions. And the next is, I have covered certain articles from Indian Express. I think it may become a bit overload to you. One is Global Hunger Index and its criticism. The sample size is too small. The data is not accurate. Many components are not connected with hunger. These are the criticisms which Indian government has levied. So they have taken a sample size of 3,000 people to estimate the malnourishment in India or undernourishment in India, which is too small for the size of India. Second is under 5 mortality rate is related to disease, not just to malnutrition. That is one of the component of Global Hunger Index, where India is placed in 107 position and worse than all the countries in the subcontinent other than Afghanistan. And then immigrant workers and their safety. Kerala example is there. Kerala NORC Routes, the non-resident Keralites nodal agency. So it provides for coordination, emergency assistance, and also insurance to the workers who have migrated to Gulf countries. So how the states can take care of their expats, this can be quoted as an example. And resignation of Liz Truss, what are the reasons? I will cover this separately to you because it has got good points for you to understand economy. So I'm not going to cover it here, I will cover it separately. So these are the articles for today. I think I have given more information than regular day. Try to bear with me. Thank you very much.